Boss Lady Conversations with Monica L.
and Coach Kaya.
Boss ladies are
Vulnerable,
authentic,
love,
hopeful,
abundant.
respected.
Boss ladies are
You.
Welcome back, Boss Ladies. I am Monica L. I am a boss educator, entrepreneur, self-published author, and poet. I believe all things are possible through synergy. My IG handle is Monica L_writer.
And I'm your girl, Coach Kaya. I'm a boss wife, mompreneur, sister, writer, and certified transformational coach. I help people reignite their dreams, access their power, and manifest, which means live the miracles that really matter. My IG handle is @IamCoachKaya.
And we appreciate your support so much of Boss Lady Conversations podcast. Please tell someone who will tell someone this is a movement.
So true, Monica L. We really hope that you've been enjoying the Boss Lady conversation so far. Just know that we're continuing to grow in this movement, and hearing from you really means the world to us. We appreciate you taking this journey with us, and we are so excited about being able to live our passions and speak our truth with you.
Yes, Coach Kaya. I mean, this has been a personal and professional journey for me. And I'm just so thankful for all of our listeners and, just knowing that we're reaching so many people in so many different places. Shout out to Panama. We see you, we hear you. We're so happy that you are a part of us, and we love to hear from you. We are very accessible. We're on IG. You can email us. So just let us know, what do you like to hear? Who would you like to have on the show? And we'll definitely try our best to do that. So again, we are so thankful, because our mission has always been to meet you where you are, and let's elevate together.
We have a wonderful show for you today. We're always talking to boss ladies and our beautiful listeners about focusing on what matters most in your life. And we tell you that self-care starts at home. So today's episode is all about healing modalities and how you can incorporate them into your life for self-care and, of course, for the purpose of healing and growth mindset. So if you're a person living on this planet at this time, you know just how important healing is. And I just want to take a moment to send love and light to everyone out there who is in the midst of the healing process. Maybe you're struggling, maybe you've overcome something. I just want to send you that support because it's not easy. I saw this quote by Khalil Gibran, the great poet and philosopher. Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. Whew, gives me chills because when I hear this, I hear that those of us who have been through challenges are warriors, and we should put respect on our names. We should honor the fact that we have these scars and that we've lived to overcome them and that we've lived to walk through the fire and come out unscathed. So, Monica L., what does that quote mean to you?
Well, it's very loaded. It's a lot. I like that it's reframing as well, because like you said, all of us walk through this life, have this journey, this human experience, and no one goes unscathed, and it's no one to say my journey was worse than yours, or, XYZ occurred, and so this makes me this way. So I think that it definitely is very impactful. And it's almost like a picture, it's one of those things where it has so much depth to it. It's all about the person who's receiving it. But I really feel that it's purposeful, and it's also positivity, because a lot of times people do not see the things that they go through as something positive or helping them to build character. And you're right, everyone knows the famous statement about pressure creates diamonds. And so we are definitely some diamonds, whether we're diamonds in the rough or we're just beautiful diamonds that are shining bright. I love the quote, and it definitely touches my soul in many different ways. And I hope that those who are warriors out there can feel the love, and that is just not about the pain.
Woo! That's a word.
Yes, yes, yes. And today we have a guest that is literally going to help you soothe the soul. The incredible Karla Hargrove will be joining us shortly to share her insight with the listeners to help gain a better understanding of healing modalities, what they are, and how to embrace them as you are healing, and even your role as a healer each and every day.
I am so beyond proud and excited to introduce you to this queen boss lady. Karla, also known as Quiet Storm, is our sister friend and a woman of such integrity. It's no surprise that she's in the healing arts because her spirit is naturally inclined to help others, and she has really helped all of the people in her life who she loves. Karla brings a diverse background of education and life experiences into her healing work as a trauma centered psychotherapist. She received an MA in counseling psychology from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, and she's also an Illinois certified domestic violence advocate. After earning her master's degree, Karla collaborated extensively with adolescents in a group counseling and clinical mentoring program called Working on Womanhood as a senior WOW counselor for youth guidance. As a therapist in the Mindfulness and Behavior Therapies program at the Family Institute at Northwestern University, Karla treats a wide range of people, including children, teens, young adults, couples, families, and seniors. Let's give Karla Hargrove a boss lady welcome.
Hey, Karla.
Hey, Karla.
22.
Hi, I am ecstatic to be here with you ladies. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and invitation just to connect with you and your boss lady listeners. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Karla. We are so happy to have you here. It's like this family time together, sisterhood. So tell the boss ladies, how has 2022 been treating you so far?
Ladies, 2022 has been an invitation for growth already with our current pandemic still going on. I am constantly meeting myself where I am in my own journey. Outside of my professional work, I am a wife, I am a mother, a daughter, sister, friend. I am carving out space for various areas of my life, but I am so encouraged for what this year is and what the potential for it is to become. I'm celebrating a milestone year in August, turning the 4-0. I'm not afraid to share that. So I certainly have some clear goals ahead for me personally this year with stepping into a new decade, a new season. But I'm welcoming 2022 with open arms. That's where I am.
That's amazing, Kay. So tell us, if you could choose a soundtrack or a song that represents your boss lady journey, what would it be?
So Kaya, great question. There's actually two songs that come to mind. One song which represents like where I was at for a while, and one song of where I feel like I'm going. And sometimes they can be interchangeable. But I'm going to relate to a Disney song, which is Reflection. It's in the film Mulan. And I love the way Christina Aguilera sings it. And the whole song is about looking at yourself, looking back at you, basically, and seeing who was on the other side of this reflection. Am I staring back at who I think I am? Am I perceiving myself to be other than what I hope to be? Where is my authenticity? And for myself, there were several years where I was trying to really discover my authentic voice, where I was trying to create spaces in my profession and in my personal life where I was where I could be who I know I am, if that makes sense. And so I love that song Reflection because it's a reminder that we're constantly on a journey of discovering our true self and being authentic and in the moment. And on the opposite side of that, where I feel like I am today is with Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire, which I absolutely love the lyrics to, the energy that, she's just a girl, but she's on fire, living in a fantasy, and it's that accumulation of manifestation, so to speak, that no matter what it is we're bringing to our minds, it is possible. And so I feel like spending time in that reflection space allows me this opportunity to be on fire and be my true self and to continue to grow in that area and share that gift with others. And so I feel like between those two, that describes a good part of my journey.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you just set it off with that one. The show could be over now. I love that. I just have to comment on, first of all, thank you for showing up in your true, authentic self. I think we as women, professionals, we have to wear so many different hats and sometimes so many different masks. Where me personally, I had to really think about who am I truly, because you are walking in so many different lanes. And, at the end of the day, when the makeup is off, when the hair is off, who are you? So I like what you said about that, the reflection. And then who do you see? Do you see growth? Or do you still see that 9-year-old little girl? Who do you see? Who do you see? And what's the next step? Like you say, congratulations. You're going to enjoy your 40s. So that's all I'm going to say about it. 40s is a whole different world. It is not the 20s. It is not the 30s. 40s, you find your voice and you say what you feel in your 40s.
I'm ready for it. I'm embracing it all.
Yeah, so everybody else needs to be ready for it. You got it. They need to be ready. So with that being said, can you tell us more about your healing work and what you enjoy about how you contribute?
When I think about myself as a mental health therapist, I'll start with the part that I enjoy, which is connection. I consider it such a great honor and privilege to connect into the most personal, private moments of someone's life story. These are moments that they might not share with their spouse, their best friend, their coworkers, people within their church community, but they feel open and safe to share them with me. And I consider that such an honor. I really do. And it's what I love is being with a client in those moments of aha, those moments of awareness, and then realizing what was already there all along. What I do is hold a space. I create a space for you to land, a space where you can trust yourself in the process and just have someone cheering and collaborating along with you. That is what I love about what I do, is being that co-signer. Okay, we're going to the left, we're going to the right, but we're steadily moving forward. If we bring things back a little bit, I'm with you. I'm with you because every day is a journey. I love where you opened it with that quote and talking about healing. Healing is intentional. I remember reading that in a quote, actually not too long ago, that healing is a daily practice. It's something that you really have to be mindful to commit to and make it a part of your daily habit, like breathing air. I'm going to commit to being the best version of myself, even if that just looks like me getting out of bed and taking a shower. That's a commitment. Okay. And you pouring something back into yourself. And so with what I do, also in that work, I bring in a few various modalities, such as mindfulness. I am currently earning my certification as a mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher through the UC San Diego. And it's typically a 3 to 5 year journey. I'm in the early stages of teaching. So I'm able to incorporate these mindfulness-based techniques within a therapeutic space, like being aware of your breath, realizing how am I judging or labeling this experience? Am I going into some mind reading where I'm already projecting something negative about the outcome before it's even happened? Am I choosing thoughts that take me back to the past, or am I already living into next week and 6 months from now? So if we can bring our attention to the present moment, that's part of the work that I do, is allowing people to find themselves in this moment and experience it just the way it is, without judgment, without labels, without definition. So that's part of what I do, along with doing some narrative-based work. So I really love storytelling. My bachelor's is actually in media arts, and I have a love of writing. So if clients that I work with are artistic and creative, I ask them, bring that in. Do journaling, write poetry, write a song, get it out of your system. And in that, in many ways, is healing too. And I love family systems work as well, and talking about the family dynamic and the family system being its own emotional unit and how you function within that system. So there's a few elements that I bring together, but my main focus is really being a collaborative part of someone else's journey.
Oh, beautiful and so eloquently said.
Karla, it's just amazing the way that in your practice, you bring it all together. When I listen to you share, it feels like you welcome a person's entire being. That it is safe for them to bring their entire being into this process. And you don't have a set agenda of how it's going to go, but you are here for their highest intention.
Kaya, so true. And I love that you said that. And as we're talking about as women, how many other places in our life are we compartmentalized? Okay. Think about that for a moment. Where do I leave a part of myself at home? Where do I leave a part of myself at my mother's house? Where do I leave a part of myself that only shows up to work, or on vacations with other people? We can section ourselves off. So in the space that I create for clients that I work with, bring your full self in. I want to see it all with you. The part that you celebrate the most, and the part that can also reveal maybe some areas that you're not too proud of. Those areas that might bring feelings of shame or regret or guilt and trigger painful experiences and painful memories. But in that practice of being mindful, pain is a signal to healing. Okay? So ignoring pain doesn't mean it's less painful. I'm just ignoring it and tuning my attention into something else. I love to use the example with clients when you hit your foot against a desk or the bottom of a chair against a wall. Ignoring that pain in your pinky toe doesn't mean it's going to go away. That pain and throbbing will still be there. So tending to that pain and being with that pain, being within what is uncomfortable, is part of our healing process. And many times we automatically want to avoid what's uncomfortable. We don't want to be with what's unpleasant. But these are those balances of life that we can't take, the sun and the moon and the stars without those periods of cloudiness too, and the ice and the cold and the rain. We need a balance of both. And so being able to bring them into an environment where there's safety, where there's trust, and there's an agreement to work on these together, is part of the process that I do.
And that's a beautiful process. I was thinking about everything that we're experiencing now, in our ever-changing world. And I wanted to know, why do you think healing modalities are so important now? Because I can tell you, it's not even easy to get a therapist. Like, people are on wait lists for months at a time. Like, people are seeking support. But why now?
Kaya, Such a key question. This pandemic revealed so much of, I think, ways we keep ourselves comfortable and distracted. So when families were quarantining at home, they were either by themselves, they were with roommates, or they were with their families, and it reveals a lot of what's under the surface. And what's under the surface isn't always pleasant. Okay, just to put it out there. Some of the things that you could avoid in your household by maybe going to a happy hour. I can go over here to a movie. Let me drive downstate and, sit on a beach. Those things were void for a long period of time, how we distract ourselves. And so when you're put into this container where there's already tension, that tension is going to bubble up. And some of those go-tos that we're using to cope with, they just aren't working anymore. They were either short-term or maladaptive. And maladaptive is a term that we use that describes an unhealthy or unhelpful way of dealing with something. So maladaptive ways of coping is perhaps overspending, maybe going shopping, overeating in some ways, using food as our coping skill, using alcohol or other substances, even work, work being overdone, that steady busyness. I got to stay busy. That can also be a maladaptive way of dealing with other things in your life that are stressful and unpleasant. So to find healing, it's important to meet yourself where you are and realize, these things that I were doing were just temporary. It was just I was putting a Band-Aid over an open heart surgery. It's not really working. And what do I need to do about that? So this is why it's so important now to find healing or coping methods that work for you and work for your lifestyle. And healing, these will be very different ways because there's healing for the mind, there's healing for the body, and there's healing for the spirit. And that's going to look different to every single person in life. So you have to really be clear about who you are, and sometimes even to be open to the thought of healing. What does healing look like for me? What is that language or community or profession that I'm even open to figuring out?
I love that. And your voice is so calming. Oh my God. I was really like being a listener. I was like, yes. I so love that. And the way you put it, yeah, a lot of people use a lot of different things to cope, and you're right. When you have to be in isolation, and we don't been through so many different variations over this now 2-year period or almost 2 years, you're absolutely right. Because I would be the one that had to go to a certain place after work. So I could be like, okay, now I can calm and then I can go home. And that's not an option, and what about the barriers, or how do you even separate? Are you at home? Are you at work? Because it's probably the same location. So, when do you stop working? So I love that you made that just very simple. And I think a lot of things that our listeners can relate to. So with that being said, as you've spoken, you treat a lot of different issues, also including post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and others. So what are some of the strategies you use for those who are seeking your support?
Monica, thank you so much for that question. One of the keys that I start out with any new client is making sure that they know I see them as a human being. Despite whatever mental health diagnosis, disorder, prescription medications they might be coming in with, this laundry list of things of why they might believe, I need help or I need support or I'm not doing well enough. I want them to know I see them as being human. And part of being seen as human is part of embracing our own resilience as human beings. We have this innate resilience that is already built up within us, so to speak. And so being able to kind of tap into that first, that, you're here at this point in your life, you're seeking professional support, and even just discovering what that is. Like if someone even has like a stigma about mental health, or talking to someone that they don't even know about these private parts of their life, even unraveling some of those narratives is helpful too. But for me, I like to take the approach of using combinations of mindfulness as well as cognitive behavior therapy. So cognitive behavior therapy is a combination of looking at the interconnectedness of our thoughts, emotions, and our behaviors. And so when I'm working with a client and we're able to talk about, well, what thoughts are you having? What thoughts were you having in that moment, maybe when you have made this impulsive decision to, cut off this other car on the highway? What thoughts were going on? And did that thought connect to a feeling? And how did that feeling then lead to an action or a behavior? So then being able to bring in mindfulness and awareness, like being aware of your thoughts, that helps to build this gap, so to speak, between your thoughts and then how you respond or react to something. So those are two different things that I like to do. In order for healing to really be intentional, another first step is being aware. We have to build and cultivate awareness for what our bodies need, what our spirits might need to heal, as well as for our minds. So how do we gain awareness? How do we become aware of our full self and some of the baggage that we might be carrying throughout life that is adding additional pain and increasing our suffering in this world? So one way to start to build that practice is really being with what is always present with you, which is your breath. I encourage clients who maybe have never had a formal mindfulness practice to start just by doing some daily breathing exercise. The power of experiencing your body breathing is that it brings awareness to everything that's going on in your mind, or all the urges that your body might be going through when you're actually sitting still. And here's a challenge. Try sitting still just for 5 minutes. See what it's like. See how many times you have an urge to move or to get up, or if you're constantly adjusting yourself. Even when it might be labeled as something that's simple, like sit still for 5 minutes, that's not easy or accessible for everyone to do. So creating awareness in our daily lives can start really by just being present with our daily lives too. And being aware of our thoughts, being aware of our feelings, building awareness of what our bodies needs will help us create these decisions about perhaps what we choose to eat that day. Am I going to get in some exercise? Do I need to maybe participate in a yoga class online or connect to a spiritual community that I find connection to and prosperity within, but you have to it first starts with being aware.
Speaking of that awareness, sometimes we don't even know when we actually need support, right? We have in our minds, I can do this on my own, I'll figure it out. But then it becomes even more challenging. So I wanted to know, what's your suggestion for people to figure out when and if they need additional support?
Hmm. That's such a great question, because you're right. Sometimes when we're not aware, we don't know that we need help. And if we don't know that we need help, we're certainly not going to ask for it. So this can come in a few different ways. You kind of have to do a self-check. And you can do this on a daily basis. You can do this throughout the day. But I think a key area to know is whether or not you need to seek additional help or support is if you are in a place where you're kind of living outside of what it is you say you value. If I say that I value balance, but my daily living is extremely chaotic or dysfunctional, where can I seek help and support to kind of bring these two areas of my life together? And in a manner that is non-judgmental too. That's another practice of being mindful, is creating non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. So take a look at what it is you say you value, and am I actually living those values? Am I making core decisions about my life based on the things that I say that I truly want? And if those two are misaligned, then that's a great area to start, especially if something is beyond the means for you to do it yourself. So there's a lot of experts in the field of psychology, mental health, social workers who are there for support. But if that is a space that perhaps is new, unfamiliar, or inaccessible, there are other ways that you can connect to a community and be able to gain healing within your area. So it's always good to be aware of what available services that are within your county or city. There's always free services available for individual needs. Most employers also offer programs. It's called an EAP, an Employee Assistance Program, and it gives you, I believe, up to 5 or 6 free sessions with a mental health professional. So these are things that you can contact your employer about too, and ask, do we have an EAP? Am I able to talk to someone for a few sessions and that be covered, by my employer? And if it's something that's not covered or not accessible, that's a good question to ask. There's kind of this responsibility now for organizations to care for their employees just as much as employees, we care for ourselves. So that balance is being, reciprocated in many ways. So knowing what's available in your area, seeing what's available through your employer. There are online spaces. There's a lot of free spaces actually for mindfulness online for the BIPOC community, for LGBTQ+. There's various websites you can go to that are mostly donation-based, and you can practice some of these deep breathing or meditation exercises along with a small community, which is really wonderful.
Great. That is just valuable information. We're so thankful for you, thankful that we are being educated in various ways and knowing how to help ourselves and knowing when we need help. Like you say, when your daily life does not align with your values, then let's take the pause button. So with that being said, we're boss moms, educators, entrepreneurs, and we're busy. We're busy. For some of us, we barely have time to do anything beyond what is scheduled. So for the busy boss ladies, can you just give us a little tips? Because you told us about the resources, but how can we really incorporate those practices? What advice would you give on a daily basis?
Monica, that's such a wonderful question because that is the daily life of so many women who are mothers, spouses, caregivers, who go above and beyond at work. There are so many ways that women in our roles, we can be divided, and then we're feeling as though we don't have anything to give back to ourselves. So even though you value all of these areas and all of these people in your life, we prioritize what we value. And valuing your own health has to, at some point, become a necessity. It's a requirement for you to care about your mind, your body, and your spirit, because if you are burnt out, if you are overexhausted, you can't be in a space to help anybody. You can't serve from an empty cup, so to speak. We're meant to give from our overflow. And that really comes from you pouring into yourself, giving back to yourself what you unwillingly give to so many other people, So it starts with really making yourself a priority. Even if it's when you wake up first thing in the morning and you're wanting to maybe journal or just do some deep breathing, perhaps lighting a candle, rubbing some scented lotion on your hands and breathing in the scent of that lotion. If you have time, maybe taking a quick walk outside if that is safe and comfortable for you to do in your area. But doing something intentional for your body, mind, or spirit on a daily basis, it's practice. And with practice, it takes some time. Like any new habit, it's going to take some time to build and set as a part of your day. And I think that also, Monica, it connects to this sense of worthiness too. Am I worthy enough to set aside this time in my day? Am I worthy enough just for an hour to be by myself? Can I ask for this space in my life just for me and whatever I want to do? If it's reading a book, if it's going to a movie, if it's making breakfast for myself or sitting on a couch reading a book, am I worthy of that? Am I worthy enough to even ask? What do I believe about myself? So that is an area, ladies, to ask yourself if you notice a conflict with seeking support in that area. Make a clear request of your worthiness, and that'll help you to find your healing in the process.
Yes, amen. I am worthy. We are all worthy. Yes, yes, and yes. Thank you so much, Karla.
Thank you.
Karla, I'm so glad that you mentioned worthiness, because when we think about being on the go and being busy boss ladies, right, and being booked and busy and getting things done and having all these accomplishments, sometimes we don't celebrate our success along the way. So I wanted to know, what are some ways that you celebrate your growth and success?
Great question. And I think even now, Kaya, with the pandemic and many of us are still social distancing, celebration needs to be flexible. I love flexibility. You got to be flexible with where we are in the world and in daily life itself. So celebrations can look a variety of ways. You don't have to wait to maybe take that trip to the Bahamas or go on a cruise, but you can do daily things to treat yourself. If you got out of bed 30 minutes early to do yoga, a way to honor that is maybe treating yourself to a lovely dinner or connecting with your girlfriends on the weekend. If it is getting to that book you've been wanting to read and asking your family, hey, can you kind of leave me alone for 2 hours? I need this space alone by myself. I love getting personal products for myself, like doing facial masks, soaking my feet in a hot tub when I can, lighting some candles, doing some writing, doing some things that are good for my mind and good for my spirit, that reflect who I am. So I would say pick and choose some things that honor you and support you in some way that's really gratifying and rewarding. And those can be just small things that you can include as part of your day.
I love that. I'm definitely about a good meal and getting my nails done. If I get these nails and these eyebrows, oh my God, yes. Self-care, self-care. Thank you. So for our listeners, are there any upcoming events or anything that, we can do to support you or support us supporting you?
I'm so glad you asked. So I work for the Family Institute at Northwestern University, which is in the Chicago area. So I have just started our mindfulness-based stress reduction program, which is actually based on a 40-year program created by John Kabat-Zinn back in the late 70s. And this is one of the only evidence-based and highly researched mindfulness programs that are out there. And it really shows it's an 8-week program, and it's been shown to support the reduction of anxiety and depression, improving sleep cycles, building emotion regulation, and also communication too. Communication is a key skill that we have to learn, because sometimes what comes out of our mouths isn't always appropriate or right in the moment. So building that practice of awareness between our thoughts and then our responses. And so we will have ongoing 8-week sessions through the rest of this year. So if there's if this is something that you're interested in, if it's doing the mindfulness-based stress reduction for you and your organization, or if it's something that you would just want to come in individually, perhaps with you or a family member, these will be ongoing throughout the year. So I'm actually, we're going to be opening up the April cohort in February, actually. Registration begins February 1st for the spring cohort. So right now we're doing winter, and it's really exciting. I really love teaching and connecting. So if sounds like something that you might enjoy, definitely visit the Family Institute at Northwestern University website.
Karla, we will be sure to put the link in the show notes because I know our listeners are going to want to connect with you. You are such a joy and just a wonderful resource for healing and growth. And we need that now more than ever.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And as I mentioned before, healing is daily. It's a daily commitment, a daily practice. And you can start today. You don't have to wait to start. Your healing can begin in this moment. Even if your healing means having less coffee during the day. It can be whatever you want to be. Start small and work your way from there. But meet yourself where you are. That's part of what the growth that can happen from our healing journey is acceptance of ourselves. So be kind to yourself, be kind to your body, your emotions, honor what it has taken for you to just to get to this place in life. That you have to honor that, because again, you are resilient and a miracle in many ways. I work with so many survivors on a daily basis and am constantly inspired by their journey of self-actualization and crossing that threshold and living a life worth living. So it's, it can start today.
So, Karla, we wanted to know which boss ladies inspire you to dream next level dreams and really stand in your greatness. Because as long as we've known each other, you are never satisfied by the status quo. Like you get excited about growth and expansion and continuing to open yourself up to new opportunities. So, which boss ladies, kind of inspire you to keep going?
Wow. So it's interesting to think about role models and inspirers. One of my core role models is my mother. She has always been one of my main cheerleaders, and just unconditional love, which I'm so thankful and grateful for. And I know that is a gift. It is such a gift. And she has been my inspiration because of sacrifices she made for her family and setting aside her own wants and always encouraging me to go after my greatest dreams. So I'm truly, truly thankful. And there's a young inspiration that I have. Well, a lady who's younger than I am, Amanda Gorman, our national poet, who is just awe-inspiring. I could just listen to her talk for days. And, she is someone who inspires me because of the impact she's going to have on so many young girls. I have 2 daughters, and I'm so thankful they can have someone like her to look up to. Someone who is about social justice and equity and inclusion and who speaks of freedom and change in our world. And I'm just so thankful that, my daughters can grow up with role models like her, including me. But, they're not going to always want to be around their mom. I get that. So truly, truly thankful for her.
Yes, we love her too. Definitely. She is amazing. And her work, it just speaks volumes. And I'm so glad that she had the platform and the support behind her so that we all can know her and embrace her and her work. So with that being said, how can our listeners connect with you, Karla?
Well, they can connect me through the Family Institute website. My email address is there. If they want to email me directly. Or I've also created an Instagram account, which is at BEB_mindful_shy, CHI. So I'll be posting some regular updates on mindfulness and being present and non-judgmental too. This is a time when we can embrace compassion and letting go of expectations and experiencing reality for what it is. And so those are a few different ways you can find me or reach me.
Oh my goodness, Karla. That's our show for today, but we are going to recap some of the many gems that you have shared with our listeners. The first one is that healing is a daily intentional practice. Self-checks are important. How are you living within your own values? What is your relationship with your own sense of worthiness? How can you explore new ways to reflect on your journey and honor your growth? Mindfulness can be an important tool for healing. Find ways to bring your attention to the present moment. Daily breathing exercises are a great place to start. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Every day, we have the opportunity to commit to being the best version of ourselves. Cultivating awareness is important to the healing process. Pain is a signal to healing. Don't ignore your pain. Find ways to honor all of your experiences. When you seek support, find someone who treats you like a human being outside of the labels. You deserve to be heard and seen. Check with your organization to ask about the Employee Assistance Program. Advocate for your healing. If you care about your healing, others will follow your example. Make yourself a priority.
Yes. Oh my God. Just overwhelmed with emotions and just happiness of such a beautiful show. So we really hope that everyone enjoyed connecting with the fabulous Karla Hargrove and learning how to embrace your healing journey. Thank you again, Karla. Yay.
Enjoyed you so much.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. I had so much fun, and just thank you so much. This was such a treat.
Boss Lady Conversations with Monica L.
And your girl, Coach Kaya.
If you haven't already done so, please follow us on Spotify and iHeartRadio.
And you'll be notified whenever we post a new Boss Lady Conversation episode.
You are who you say you are.
You're destined for great things. Your life matters each and every day.
Now go get your blessings, boss ladies.